Thank you for everybody coming today. It's actually my first time come to Denver. I was supposed to be here for a concert in Red Rock Amphitheater last April, but I got an emergency, so I couldn't come. I'm so excited to be here to share some thoughts here, share some fun fact, and share something we have been experimented with. And today we also gonna have like some body moving session. So get ready, like warmed up. If you sit for long, you can stand up. Like yeah, you can like move your body. Yeah. So as you see, like human-centric design with AI is a topic, and I know AI is a hit topic today. That's probably like a lot of people coming today. Also we're gonna have a session to get to know you better. But before this, I'm gonna introduce myself. I'm Zoe. I'm a software designer IDEO. What does this mean? So software design actually combines the design and code, because I have the computer science and design background. I was also an architect before I joined IDEO back to Germany. I was studying there. This is like how I formed this topic related to AI and design. So for those who didn't know what IDEO is, it's a design consultant company focused on human-centric design. So you can see here we have designed the first Apple mouse. There are some like new designs such as like pack peels for Amazon, and there's some like design showcase here. If you want to understand know more about IDEO, this company can check online. And for people who are designers, you might know about design thinking. So IDEO is kind of pioneer in the design thinking field, and we have this like famous Venn diagram about desirability, viewability, and feasibility. I also want to introduce a little bit of context where I'm from. So I'm from the Bay Area. This is IDEO office in the Bay Area. We have a new office. So why I talk about this space? Because we have some really fun things happening around in the space, and also why the AI coming out this time. I will showcase some photos here in IDEO office. So we have some collective session. Everybody discuss new ideas, and we also have the new technology that people interact with the butterfly. And here we have individual space. People can discuss idea and visual communication. Everybody can design a post for our events. Instead of physical space, we also have the virtual space. Our director, Jenna, has led an emerging wave community inside of our company, which we explore different type of emerging technology, like VR, AR, and also multimodal interaction. And AI is a heated topic now in this group. But today, you know that IDEO is famous for human-centric design, but today we actually talk about non-human. We talk about AI. It's a cliche, yeah. So let's actually start with a small warm-up, because I really want to understand you more. And normally at IDEO, we do a thing called creative tension, which means that every people have the thoughts, and they want to choose, become a spectrum. The things you like is the things that you didn't like. When we have these events, we normally let people to stand up, walk around, but today I saw just so many people. So I would suggest, if we're gonna have a spectrum here. If you feel the left things more for you, you can raise your left hand. If you feel the thing right things more for you, you raise your right hand. And if you feel oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, you can raise both your hands. Yeah, let's do a small exercise. Is hot dog a sandwich? If you choose yes, you can. Okay, let's play around. Yeah, I saw some people say yes, some people say no. Yeah, okay, you got it. We have the tutorial onboarding. Yeah, and the second question, how much do you know about AI? So you might what exactly is AI? I don't want to say, I just know the name. And some people say, I'm an expert. How do you define yourself? You can clasp now. Yeah, and the third question, are you currently using AI? So haven't yet, or of course, it's essential my everyday work. Okay, some people, yeah, most of you guys have used it day to day. This is just raise one hand. Who has used these tools before? Let me see if there's somebody. Actually, almost everybody here used it. It's great. So how should your business proceed with AI? This is the last question. So either let's wait and see. It's oh, we're gonna wait until it gets more mature, the technology, or no time to wait. Let's start now. So what's your opinion towards it? Okay, we have some divergent here, but yeah, Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm kind of getting to know like the knowledge of AI. So I'm not gonna talk a lot about like the detail of it, but I'm just gonna cover a little bit, just in case somebody might not use it before or not familiar with the interface. So before this, I want to share some thoughts, personal thoughts on this. Very simple. It's AI is creating new spectrum for our life. It's inevitable, but with large amounts of opportunities, we should use it with intention. So this is just my personal thoughts, not to represent IDEO. It's from all the experiments I did inside of IDEO. We have the client work, and also we have the experiment done in this virtual community emerging wave. If I use a very popular film to describe it, you might think about now AI is everything, everywhere. And here I did a conclusion of the 3 ways of the business using AI. So the first one is build. So company create products with AI or build their own AI. So something we observe here is OpenAI created an enterprise version recently. And Duolingo created AI experience with ChatGPT 4. And everybody heard about the news that Instacart has been added to the OpenAI and ChatGPT plugin. So this is the first build feature. For the second one, use, it's more obvious. It's like streamline the process with AI and creating digital asset. So inside of our company, we actually use it to create one thing called sacrificial concept. We just like create a lot of like image and concept. Why it's called sacrificial? Because a concept can be sacrificed. And also there's a tool called Gamma we have been using to create the documents and create the slides template for our project. And recently, we're also using the AI created by Google in the workspace to streamline our workflow. And the third is reaction. Is the company react to the market, react to the AI landscape. So some company might not using AI now, but was forced to react to it, which means that if you didn't start, you also be forced to do something. For example, check. This is a tool I used when I was still a graduate student that were checking the math, like PSAT problems. But recently, I just found out like they created this checkmat with ChatGPT. It's kind of like a solution they are forced to do because the ChatGPT is so powerful that they have to do something. It has to do something. And this is old news, but Giddy has banned AI generate image. They want to protect artists. But we don't know how this image is going to go and how it's going to impact the artist community. So here, let's do a small exercise for the people who really didn't know AI. I provide a small prompt, a hot dog served on an automatically rotated table. So if you have a paper or have a pen, you can like draw a little bit, and we can see how fast it is. Okay. So I know that like most of the people have experience with AI, so I'm just gonna show here. So this is some exercise we just like done very fast in the company, but like when we put it into Midjourney, it's kind of take a second, like take 10, 20 seconds to build a hot dog. Let's look into it. It's like very powerful like image creating at this moment. So we kind of use this to like kind of iterate our process and doing this sacrificial concept to make the concept more sacrificed, and then we get a better idea. Yeah, so come to the question, how do we use AI? How do we as a designer and how do we as an entrepreneur and to explore the landscape of AI and how to make it more fun, more communicative? So to do this presentation, I actually interviewed 9 creators and designers inside of IDEO with my partner Juliet, which is another industrial designer. And we did this research with 9 people from totally different backgrounds. They are industrial designer, interaction design, play designer, because inside of IDEO we have a play lab, which we invented tour and make play for kind of invention of clients' work. And I surprisingly found that back to 2080, we already use the GPT. Back to then, it's only GPT-3. We're using it to do brainstorming. And recently, I was a part of a group organizing San Francisco Design Week. We have experimenting AI. So in these events, we have a lot of new experiments with done inside and outside company. And we bring this, and we create a small module and invented it for the client's work. So we have some research on how Gen Z react to AI. You know that Gen Z is like giant landscape. So how we design better product for Gen Z. And also we create a payphone that you can actually talk with the future of yourself. And there's a recently published client work. If you would like to see, there's some article about it on IDEO's website. So the clients, a startup, they come to us, try to find a way to teach students with AI more ethically. Their company's name is called Ethically. So we designed this AI interface for them to better understand how they can teach students, how teacher can interact with students like better with AI. And today we're gonna share some smart examples to show like what our process, how we use this playful and creative and sidewalk way to embed our AI creativity into the client work. And we created this with AI. And here I will provide creativity recipes for you. So there are 3 ingredients here. So humanize product interaction, collaborate beyond solitude, and deepen our expertise. So the first one is humanize product interaction. So recently I was walking on the street of San Francisco and I saw this application for the blush. I downloaded it and just found out they're teaching me how to date people, like dating people. Yeah, and also this famous K-pop group like AI Avatar, and lots of my friends actually are a fan of them. And there's a funeral for the dead robot dog. So I'm kind of start rethinking, what if we create interactions that could redefine our relationship between human and product? So there's something you might have observed or you might have not noticed, that we are good at making non-human human. You might thought it's a cliche, it's like, oh, so you're like bullshitting. But when you're looking at the surrounding, so inanimated objects actually have personalities. So see how your eyes will animated objects. So this small project that we actually did with a retail store domain, that we find out that the customers are more trust value than the brand itself recently. So think about people not only buy things for brand, they buy things for their value. It's also a trend of Gen Z. And then the shopping for the customers is kind of become a research. So we're creating a scenario. So when you walk into a store, you hesitate. Like if you need to buy a leather pants, and you have a plug, and you plug in the pants, and you start interact with the pants. And all of a sudden, there's a new spectrum coming up. You can actually ask some backstory. So who are you? Like, where are you from? And maybe something you care about. What is the carbon footprint of the manufacturer? How will workers compensated? Or there's some cultural question. So who wears you? What kind of famous people have this before? Or you just want to ask, how do James really feel about the khaki pants? And we actually ask this question.
As a laid-back pair of Levi's 501s, I've got no problem with khaki pants.
It's actually have no problem. Yeah. So when you think about the future, if Gen AI has applied to objects with a common set of factors, so this kind of is a meditation on the history and the personality. Let's dig deeper into it. So for the personality side, so how the products makes you feel and how the products makes the customers really like get their feeling. And how we get facts about this product and beyond. So when we look at it deeply, they actually are kind of like 2 separated elements. So currently for the personality side, we already have the technology. Before the kind of chatbot are invented in the market, it's kind of bland. And they're just to talk with you in a plain language. But what if we use this more PANS methodology to make it more delightful and memorable? And for the history, so actually a technology now, like including OpenAI, ChatGPT, are doing a lot of things to reduce the hallucination. So it's actually like AI always have the output. So whatever you ask them, they actually will give you some output. So how to reduce this kind of cliche and build a pure fiction for you? This is actually we explored in this project. Also, chats expanded what can be expressed. It can express the tone of voice and some minors and some unpredictability of the product itself. So thinking about it, you're talking with something around you and think about what kind of unpredictability with it. So we did this experiment actually in San Francisco Design Week. We present this work and we receive a lot of like weird thoughts, results. Actually, the Gen Z, like the people like coming here, they talk with the pants. They have entirely different thoughts. And we have been applied this model into multiple different products, like the fixing robots and also the clients who want to search for like better chatbot to introduce their product to the clients. So what kind of new way of interaction would you like to have with your product? So for the second example, I want to share something about collaboration. It's collaborative beyond solitude. So if you have been using ChatGPT or like Midjourney, like other tools, you might find their interface is more like a one-on-one interaction. And you just sit in front of the table and chat with them or like share your knowledge constantly, you're just sitting. So I have been on a 5-week project with a client that we're designing a venture for a healthcare studio. And we have been using 20 different AI tools through this process, entirely for design process. And we find out like the designers in the team are all worked alone. They didn't really share the knowledge. And here, like based on these small insights, we start an experiment how humans can collaborate better with the AI tools. So what actually we can do to make AI more thoughtful and let AI to make the entire design process more collaborative. Yeah, so some of our designers start using AI collaboratively. They're starting this experiment. So the things we actually design is a camera for the future. So there is an experiment between one industrial designer and a software designer, which like coding, like a sort of thing. So this is the camera what we designed. You take a picture and it kind of transfers the emotion for you. So when the industrial designers start to think about a camera shape, we actually start with AI. So what AI think about a camera for the future? It's actually pretty disappointed to just showcase a camera like this. And the industrial designer was thinking, oh, what should we do like to make AI like really understand us, really make us collaborative? So they have a brainstorming together and they kind of like generate some key question and key insight about the camera features of the digital version. And input that in ChatGPT and use the output of ChatGPT as an outcome, like they just use this rather than use Midjourney to generate tons of image. So based on these thoughts, they start creating themselves. So this is a design they start making with a camera. This is not AI generated image, it's all by a human designer, but they're using the ChatGPT as a thought partner to help them thinking. So there's a quote from the designers working on this project. He didn't want the AI to do the things he liked. They want the AI to do the things he didn't like. So have you ever seen this kaleidoscope camera that you can rotate to like express your expressions through the photos? And this is a printer shape, and this is a crystal ball shape cameras. And the fun thing is that they actually built it out. They built an initial prototype version with the thoughts, and they're still evolving this process. So would AI enhance the collaboration opportunity exists in your design process and how you perceive the information more cautiously? So for the third part, it's a kind of interview series that we did with the expert. It's called Expand Our Expertise. So when you think about what AI can do for you, we already said it several times, like large volume of text, audio, image, video, or type of task, like ideation, iteration, composition, or summarization. And some of us use this to generate the research insight. And when we designers saw this, before we think about, oh, I just realized ChatGPT can do my job, but actually ChatGPT may take your job. Is that true? So for this one, I actually give my thoughts to the 9 designers inside of IDEO, and they're from different disciplines, like from physical product design to digital product design. And I made a small video for them. So we asked them 3 questions. How do you use AI? Do you think AI will replace your job? What is AI for you? And I'm going to play this short video here.
It blew my mind how far it had come, and just as a generative tool, it was so inspiring, and I started to think about like how it could impact our work.
Like the potential of the power to transfer from one medium to another medium.
Like it's not a human understanding, but it's a different kind of understanding.
So I feel like in some respects, AI is like ordering a pizza. I didn't want it to do something that I love. I wanted to do something that I actually did not like. I did not like coding.
Just a new tool in the toolbox of like being able to, create new imagery, and what are the things that you could use that would like actually give you creative energy. I think that's the challenge for all of us.
I'm not terribly worried about humans running out of interesting things to do because of these tools. I think very much the opposite of that.
It's like, okay, we have this new technology, but how can we use it in a way to make interaction with everyday objects more fun for people and more engaging?
So here we start to asking the question, what if the future we could all become cross-discipline designers? And here I collect some examples that inside of IDEO we have done. So the talking pens and a book written by ChatGPT, and we explore the spectrum of using AI. And also we organize a workshop that help clients to envision this future of city with the AI. And this is an example of a designer exploring the material ball with the AI. Yeah, there's a blog called Ductive AI. If you have interest, there are more like small experiments that we did and create a small module shift to the clients. So what expertise would you like to expand using AI? Yeah, so here we have talked about humanized product, collaborative beyond solitude, and deepen our expertise. However, there's still a lot to solve. You know how to use AI, but how to understand ethics and legal perspective AI. So here we oversimplify the concept of using AI more ethically. So it's especially important in AI world because of greater scale of impact and less human and regulatory oversight. So we feel like AI should be transparent, responsible, and expandable, and honest about like how possible each of these are. So we feel like business integrating AI must be transparent, responsible, and explainable. Inside of a company, we actually have a legal and ethical framework that we touch some points like buyers may cost by AI, and when you're exploring with AI, what should be cared about, and misinformation from AI, and also the privacy issues caused by AI. There's some question to ask. Could using AI cause harm to individual people, or it hurts the designers inside of your team? Can I trust the information that AI gives us? So we already talked about hallucination from AI and how to avoid it and how to check the information more carefully when you use it. And do I feel morally aligned with how others will use and benefit from these tools? So this is some questions we put in front of ourselves, especially every time we start a new project. And I will do a conclusion here. So when we human get into the design process, we have the empathy and emotion understanding, and we also use the creativity and innovation, and we have the intuition of doing things and consciousness and self-awareness of doing our design. And when we add AI into our process, we have processing the speed and consistency, because currently we have the way that to keep AI more consistent with their language. And the broad and various topics. So you can ask whatever, even you didn't understand it, but you can still ask what exactly it is. And also multitasking, which is really hard for human beings. So all the things is what we get from all our experiments with human and AI. And here I will give 5 insights at the end of this presentation. So the first one is subject matter expertise transform how one use AI. So through our process, we have been asked AI a lot of knowledge. Like when we're doing the healthcare project, we ask it about the knowledge about the healthcare terms. But normally, we just find out very broad information, very generic information. But when we integrate the human thoughts into it, we get a more specific question. And the second insight is Gen AI cannot replace designers yet. So we don't know how technology evolves, but still the designers' integration into the design process is very essential for the design. And third insights, so in this growing landscape of AI tools, choosing the right one is the key. So when you're using the broad landscape, there are different types of like text-to-text, like large language model tools, like Perplexity AI, like ChatGPT and Claudia. When you're using these tools, how to readily find the things is something I feel company need to really focus on, like how to find a better tool set for the designers inside of a company. The fourth one is the true challenge is use Gen AI lens in validation and making sense of its output. This is also like a hallucination conversations, how when we enhance our efficiency, how we can get the right answer we want, how to use human to kind of filter in the progress. And the last insight is designing with AI affects collaboration. So we also talk about the solitude that caused by AI. So when you work in the team, how to balance the collaboration between AI and between the human beings is the key. Yeah, I have last thoughts here. It's a brand new ways of working, and yet it's a new tool that we all have to just understand how it's fitting our practice. And you're always your own chef. And thank you.
Are you willing to field questions?
Yeah. Any questions, please feel free. Yeah, please.
So what do you think would be, like, what would it take to get AI at the same widespread use level as like a cell phone? Is it more education around it, or is it like better interface with a human? Because ChatGPT released and a lot of people start using it, but it's not as common as a phone.
So currently we have I read an article about like the iPhone era of ChatGPT. Because actually back to 3 years ago, like there's only GPT-3 that nobody know how to use it. Like the playground is very hard, also very hard to get the API. So when ChatGPT like invited this new interface, it's easier for people really to adopt to it and use the more like chatting way of interaction. I feel if it want to be more adopted like iPhone, I mean the era is coming because there are more designers with design interaction between human and AI. It's like we're designing more interaction between the phone and the human being. It's like the same, yeah.
How should entrepreneurs future-proof their careers?
With AI?
With AI, so why wouldn't artificial intelligence replace most of the people in this room?
I would not say replace, because one insight we currently get in our process, so we did this 5-week venture program with a venture studio, and we have 3 designers like paired with different GPT tool and different image tools. And we find out like there's still a lot of expertise inside and human-centric research needed in the progress. So definitely like humans integration into the process is very essential for using the AI tool. So as we showed, yeah, there's a previous slide showed like what human actually can do and what AI can do. So when the investors coming to you, they will not ask like AI, so they care about the story of the intuition of the founders. So this is what we heard when we have the research progress. So there might be some design, I will not say replace, there might be some product be designed by AI, but there's still the product designed by human that cannot be replaced. Yeah. Am I answering your question? So there. Okay. Yeah, we have the spectrum, different side. I'm curious about your thoughts. Do you want to share it, or sorry?
Well, I mean, this is the early stages of artificial intelligence, and I'm in healthcare, so I get what you're saying. Healthcare provider, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I just think that there, and particularly in terms of entrepreneurship and getting products that add value to people. There's always, a lot of this is so much guesswork that humans do and trial and error and chance. So the more I think this process evolves, I wouldn't be surprised if you have to change that slide next year when you give this talk.
Yeah, so actually I was just chatting with Jason. It's like what we experimented last week is totally different from today, right? Every day is changing, yeah.
I would like to add to that, though. What's interesting is that when we talk about entrepreneurialism, in particular, it's based on capitalism to some degree. And so if capitalistic mentality and philosophy and constructs is what's leading through the process of interpreting what AI is or is not, it's very frightening to me. I don't know how to interpret it. But I do know that the entrepreneurs are problem solvers. And so the taxi drivers that did adapt to Uber and all that kind of stuff, who lost their jobs, whatever, that's a great example to me of how, whoever, whatever, is capturing, what this next thing is, and always look at what happens. So it won't be so terrifying the more we dive in.
And I also find a valuable things like why we as a designer introduce AI is not about like we use AI more. So I'm not trying to persuade people to use more AI and get updated with all this technology. It's more of way of thinking. It's like how you can be a better designer with this updating technology and how you can change your mind. So you are not chased by AI and you are not chasing AI. It's more about how you do it collaboratively with AI and enhance yourself as a person and as an entrepreneur. Thank you. Yeah, sorry.
Was the tone at IDEO reactive initially to AI because you have so many creative designers that are what led you to start going down the road of AI? Was it reactive, or was it actually a proactive? We're going to get ahead of this.
So actually, from our San Francisco Design Week exhibition, we already like showed a lot of proactive like works we did like 15 years ago about artificial intelligence, and we at that time we called it augmented intelligence. So how to use the technology to augment human being rather than like artificial. Yeah, to create a new thing. Yeah, thank you for asking.
Where do you guys share this stuff, like the product experiments, and where are people talking about it? Where are you sharing it?
So IDEO have, so IDEO have an official blog that we share the journal every week. Yeah, there's also a side AI experiment. It's like experiment Google. It's like we have the IDEO experiment. It's called duct tape AI. Yes, on Medium. But you can find all this information in IDEO, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So we share it every week. Please.
So this whole talk is very serendipitous to my HCI graduate studies right now. I'm actually evaluating heuristic tools, and IDEO's AI ethics cards are the ones that I'm going over. And I guess it's kind of more like a comment to like any designers that are here, is that I think there's an opportunity for designers to really get an understanding of the implications of AI, how to leverage it, just as you had described, but also to kind of create like a framework of making sure that you are pausing instead of going down a rabbit hole of some type of design or product idea. Like take a moment to evaluate it. What are the potential misuses of this technology? And just being the person or like that voice on behalf of like the product team or to like work with entrepreneurs and stuff. It's just all just kind of tie together. And thank you so much for this presentation.
Thank you for all this. Yeah, I'm happy to hear. Like we have this AI asset card 4 years ago. Yes, they're developed by a bunch of data scientists, and we're trying to understand how AI can influence our day-to-day work as a data scientist and software designer. But now it's kind of like become more company level because there are more designers getting like their hands on AI. Thank you. Oh. Yeah. Oh,
do you want to go first? What is your personal relationship with AI? Emotionally, have you gone through a roller coaster of different emotions with it, and has it changed over time?
Definitely, yeah, it's a really good question because I just recently talked with my friends. Like I got some AI fatigue at a period of time. Like I'm using AI constantly. So this is also a question, like of course, respond to your question about like AI. Because I feel there might be like better interactions that make AI not like AI we saw today. Because when you start talking with ChatGPT, like you couldn't like constantly doing it for, yeah, myself, I couldn't do. I could only speak for myself. I couldn't like talk with every day. I was constantly talking with GPT for 1 week. I just collaborated with GPT, and I feel I couldn't do that. Yeah.
So I think one of the hardest things about building AI into a software product is there's so much that you can do with it that it's easy to give it to a user and then put all the onus on them to like be imaginative and figure out what to ask it or how to interact with it. So do you have any examples of like clever ways that you or your team or that you've seen in other products that they've managed to narrow the scope of that and make AI easier to use and less, I guess, scary and like blue ocean to a user of their product?
If I understand it clearly, it's like you mean how to make product not like AI uncanny valley, not make like uncanny valley of AI.
It's less about the uncanny valley and more like making it more approachable, because for example, when you open up a chat GPT window, like you can ask it literally anything, and the scope of that is so large that I think it becomes intimidating. So how do you break that down and create something that's like a step up rather than like 10 steps?
So I've, sorry, does somebody want to say something?
Can I ask you, how'd you choose pants?
How do we choose pants?
Yes.
I choose pants, I love the brand I like. Yeah. And I go to see like the things, the design.
That's more starting with a product. I guess I'm
Yeah.
more asking about, the UI and the UX decisions that you make. Like for example, with, was it ethically, that education interface? Like how do you think about designing that, maybe as an example?
So for the ethically project, AI is a feature of this product, which means that we're still doing the human-centric design approach. Like we interview people, we interact with students, and let them to test the concept and towards interaction. I feel like even, the good things about ChatGPT is it invented an interaction that's really approachable for people. So there are more people start using it because it's more like a conversational way. But actually, it's a starting point. How we change the interaction from this conversational is like more broad for people, like more exploratory method, like of the ChatGPT to more like targeted. So I saw some designers was doing the research on how to make the image, making the text to image toward more targeted, because now we just like write a text, and every time we have different image, but how to make it more specific, more targeted, to better to fit the people who want to use it. If you are a designer, you want to like write a text and generate the image very specific for your design, you should be more targeted. I feel this is the opportunity for the designer to design a new interface and interaction for this type of like AI, use of AI. Yeah.
I have a question kind of in line with the user interface. So how do you see the future of conversational design? Like right now with the ChatGPT and other platforms, it's all about prompting, about like chatting text to text or text to image and so forth. What do you see the future? What's going to be there tomorrow, in a year's time, 2 years' time? Is it going to be very much speech to text, speech to image, or something else?
Yeah, I can speak for myself. Like I can speak my understanding of it. I feel there are two things I specifically interested in. One is how, so now there are a lot of conversational AI being embedded into the application. If you open, like I recently used a like meeting recording tool called Fireflies. So you can actually chat with your meeting history and chat with to ask a question, and also the chat PDF, all these tools. So it can make like a more interaction like with the product. So how to embed the conversation into one tools. So you're using all kinds of app to think about how embed the conversation into the app to make it more like conversational. It's an opportunity that maybe every company should start to explore a little bit. And another thing I specifically like is the voice AI, is how to be more conversational, is chat with it more like a human being. Yeah, because artificial intelligence like started with, when I was doing research at MIT, we're doing the research on like the conversational robotics. So machine learning, like all the learnings, how to make like the robot more like human. So we're having all this technology to have more like intuitive interaction with the things we're designing. Yeah, you can think your phone like robot, and you embed AI into this to be more intuitive for you to use.
I know there are more questions. I had a quick follow-up. You know, you say like making AI more like humans. Is there a danger and risk to that? Is it better to separate it and make it more like an avatar? You know it's AI, you're interacting with that. Or one day, like tomorrow, one of my colleagues is going to be an AI, and I'm not going to even know that for like the longest time, especially remote work.
This is a really interesting question, but personally, I couldn't really speak for this because when we wrote this guideline for the company, every time we use AI, we must mark it, like have a watermark on the side that we are using AI and attach the prompt on it. Yeah, this is our way of how to keep our line, like a baseline of using AI. But yeah, with the technology evolving, there might be some new like legal or new laws coming out. I believe in that. Yeah.
So I think everyone's looking for like a simple answer, right? Like we want AI to solve problems. And a lot of our problems are simple. Like UPS figured out, don't turn left, because that's when we get in accidents and it causes delays. Very simple problem. Have you seen any results with AI that could just come up with a very simple solution that no one saw before?
The simple solution of AI to solve the problem. I will not predict the future. I will not predict a new startup idea. But there are definitely a big kind of opportunity area in education. This is, I saw a lot of
Instantly, like, don't turn left, we'll design all our routes, don't turn left. Saves them millions of dollars a year in accidents, gas, their faster delivery. Simple sentence, don't turn left. That took a human, right? Has AI said anything like that?
I feel this question is beyond my expertise. But what I want to say is, like, today we're talking mostly about generative AI. It's using this process. But AI is actually a big field. A lot of companies actually started using it 30 years ago, especially in the healthcare domain. Like, they're using the machine learning to detect the disease. And this is our ongoing progress. Yeah.
So there's a good quote, it's the content of the new medium is the old medium. So like when TV came out, it reflected radio shows. So in my opinion, I don't think the chat box is the right way to interact with AI. I think it's going to be an evolution. Right now it's just the chat box. But how do you view the design of interacting with these thought machines? Do you think it'll reflect humans? Do you think it'll be a new type of UI? It took us a while to get off of TV shows looking like radio shows. So what's the new UI going to be like?
Yeah, these are things that designers are constantly doing, like very specific to the question we want to solve. I feel now like the reason why we build like the pen store is we're exploring these fields, like how to make the objects more interactive, more like intuitive. And I feel what you said about like chat is not a final solution. I agree at some point, because for some product, for some problem, it might be the answer, but some might not. So like, for example, if you let students just chat with chatbot, definitely not a good solution. You just can't, yeah. Like there's no guidance, there's no like any like guideline for them. So I feel like for different domain, there are different kind of UI. And I feel one interesting point is we're also exploring the multimodal interaction. So now we only have this text, like typing like to the screen. It's just a type of interaction. So I will see like after like Vision Pro or maybe in the future like AI, VR, AR, VR become more like popular, like how it's embedded into more like multi-sensory interaction and experience. Yeah, this is something just started at.
Take one more question, and we'll let everyone easily leave, and if someone wants to hang out and drink with me or so, choose.
Okay, let's do two. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, given that AI, especially visual AI, is trained on existing artworks and the speed at which it can put out stuff, do you think we're sort of making a sacrifice, more quick iteration and ideation instead of cultural and artistic evolution? Do you think we're at risk of sort of losing sort of trends of artistic evolution? You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, if I understand, is you mean like we're sacrifice art community to fit the tech community.
New types of art coming in because now we're just using all of this old art. We're kind of saying, okay, this is what art is. Everything that happened in the past, and we're pumping all this stuff out with it, and not exploring with human artists. You know, do you think we're at risk of not exploring new avenues of design or art because everybody's going to do design, which just draws from it?
I feel there's two thoughts coming out of me because I personally I have a lot of artist friends. They're having the crisis with like new AI tools. But like when you ask yourself like, are you gonna buy AI art and hang in your house? Like everything in your house is AI generated. Are you gonna buy it? So how they can face this challenge and like shift their direction? It's something like I would like to say for like future of artist community they can do for themselves, and there might be some law coming out that protects them. But I will say that the AI entirely replace them. Yeah, and how to use it more like ethically is also something like, it's become more like a consciousness to people. And another thought is actually like, this is a new tool box, just as what I described in the presentation. Like Photoshop has replaced some designers that couldn't use it, but there are still some hand-drawing artists existing in the world. And how some artists adopt to the new tools, the new methodology. This is also something that the art community could explore. Yeah, so there are always sacrifice with the new technology wave, so we couldn't really avoid it because, yeah, the world, yes, evolving. It's gonna be faster, from my understanding.
I had a question, kind of on your process, your team's process, right? From a legal standpoint, I understand the AI correctly, right? Like everything that we're putting in is basically taking and then using again, right? So how do you make sure that your client's IP is protected and that you're trying to use for like an iterative process?
So actually, inside of our company, we have our own version of Tor, which our data has been protected locally. Yeah, this is a direct solution. Yeah, we're not using the ChatGPT directly. Well, yeah, we'll use our own version. Also, this is how, like, why OpenAI are starting this enterprise version. Yeah, getting more money or?
I have a question. If everyone raise your hand if you think the same way that I do. As humans, are we fucking up the world pretty good? Yeah. So I'm just curious to see how chat and how AI can actually help, because we're so emotionally charged as human beings that drives so much of our biases and the optics of the way we look at things and solve problems. Whereas the chat can just give us a direct answer that's no frills, total free of BS, whatever. It's just, here it is. And if you get to use your emotional state to try to interpret that, but it sort of leaves out some of that initial kind of work that we use as humans to kind of perpetuate behaviors over and over again. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens. And if whoever wants to buy me a cocktail tonight to talk more about that, that's, you know, I don't drink, but I'll do that. I want to thank Zoe. She's amazing. You guys.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, everybody.